Jamie Meloni here, host of the all-new That Business Show 2.0, where each morning we talk with different professionals about business and different professional endeavors, and we want to hopefully inspire you to do the same. So if you've been listening to us for a while and are getting ready to get involved in a business or are involved with a business, we'd love to hear your story too. So visit tbsinterview.com for how to come onto the program. And also you'll see that the new website is now launched. It's thatbusinessnetwork.com, which will become a membership site. You'll still be able to watch the new episodes each and every morning without charge, but we're developing a website that'll get a lot of the past guests involved in the different tools and programs that they have and get that exposed to the audience. Because again, as you know, we've interviewed over 1,000 different people in the past 3 years on the program. So the site's just under new development. Some of the stuff's up there already, but it'll be some time before it's completely done. So be sure to check back in and make some suggestions for how you'd like to see the site develop. So in today's program, we're going to be talking about social media. We've got Kyra Reed with us today. She is the founder and CEO of Marker Digital, and you can learn more at that site, marker.com. Marker spelled Markyr. So Kyra, welcome to the program today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So first off, just tell us the basics about your business, Marker Digital.
So we provide small businesses and entrepreneurs with strategy on how they should best approach social media and how to manage it so that it doesn't become overwhelming. They don't throw a bunch of money down the toilet trying to succeed with it, with ads and whatnot, and really help them to kind of understand the depth and the layers of social, that it goes far beyond just your Facebook page or your Instagram account. There is a lot that a small business can benefit from using social media. So we really help each business kind of figure out what their place in social is, who they are, how to reach their community, how to develop great content, and then how to manage that over the long haul so that they don't drop it off, which is something we see a lot of small businesses doing.
Now, you're a marketing and advertising, agency focused on social media. Do you strictly stay on the social media path? Do you branch off into other areas of advertising and marketing, or just social media?
Well, advertising as far as it relates to Facebook advertising, not other forms of traditional advertising. And, there are ways that we can't help but kind of slip into other departments. Social really kind of integrates with all areas of business, with sales, customer service, product development. So to the degree that social has to kind of intersect with those departments, we do. And we also tend to focus on thought leadership. And that's something that comes up quite a bit when we're dealing with startups or small businesses, really helping the CEO or whoever kind of the face of the company is to develop their messaging, get on the speaking tours, and really get out there as kind of that individual. And so those are the things that we tend to do because they collide so much with social media itself.
Okay, so many business owners are on social media. They're on some platform. They're at least doing something. Some of us are, I'm not necessarily myself, I think I do a decent amount of social media, but it's, I can always do stuff better. But for the business owner who's not really engaged with social media, where should they begin? Is it with a Facebook page, a Twitter account, LinkedIn? How do they get started?
So this is always the first question and the wrong question, because looking at social media as Facebook first or Instagram first, you're looking at tactics. You're not looking at strategy. The first thing a business owner needs to understand is, who am I? How am I going to show up here? The second question is, how am I going to reach my customers? What do they need from me? And the third question is, what kind of content am I going to produce? Because the vehicle itself is not important if you are not using it properly, if you are not showing up with a clear message, showing up with something your customers want, and then producing valuable content. The rest of it doesn't matter if you don't have those three things. So that's really where they need to start.
Okay, so a clear, identifiable strategy, clear marketing content. Should it be driving everybody to like a central place, like a website or a call to action? Should every post center around the same core message?
No. Some of your posts should. And often you should send people back to your website. However, if that's all you're doing, you're in promo. Your audience is going to lose interest. You're not going to get any traction at all with your content. You're going to get frustrated and quit. You have to continue to bring in a mix of things that would, again, going back to why it's important to understand your message. Because with a clear message, you give people reason to want to follow you. If you know who you are, then other people will follow along that find resonance with you. You need to understand what your customers want from you so that you are actually delivering that, because your customers don't want to hear your promotion all the time. They want value from you. They want to know interesting things about your industry. So no, always going back to you is not the way to do it. And here's an interesting statistic that just came out as well. Curated content, which means content that you did not create originally, is the most clicked on content, far and above original. So by providing your audience with things that are of interest to them that don't take them to your site, they will become more interested in your brand and have more engagement with it.
So you're saying sharing the stories from CNN and Fox or wherever it is, gets more engagement than me producing an original post and content? Yep. Why is that? Is just because people are attracted to those established brands, or maybe the artwork's better, or what is it that drives them to that?
Well, it isn't just, there wasn't a clear definition of, highly produced like CNN or Fox. It could also be something that I've written that you share. So I think that really what the answer to that is that it's content that is of value to the audience. So if you're curating something, in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, you know what, my audience is really going to dig this, right? And chances are you're right. And that is why, because sharing someone else's content shows a couple of things. It shows that you know exactly what you're doing on social media, because it is really about sharing. And the second thing is you're really focusing on providing value, which is what people want. So you get what's going on here. And a point that I just want to make, and I make this every time I speak because it's so important to understand, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, these platforms were not developed so that businesses could market, right?
Right.
It wasn't a HubSpot that said, we're going to be a marketing company. They were relationship platforms. So if you take a relationship platform and all you do is market on it, you're not using it the right way. If you look at it as a relationship platform where what I'm here to do is share my information and make my audience happy. You were saying in your intro that you're putting together a site where you can bring together people who've been on your show before and offer more resources to your community, because you understand that's what people actually want. So you need to take that to social media as well.
Yeah, that's a new path that the program will go down. Honestly, I started this show 3.5 years ago. I'm a realtor first here locally. Started doing a radio. I'm a radio guy turned podcaster. Started doing a local radio show on real estate weekly, and then turned it into a 5-day-a-week show interviewing different business owners, and made it a hobby. But I'll be honest with you, I had no clear path or direction to what I was doing. I just liked going on the radio and talking to people, and I had the ability to do it. So now that I've got 600-700 shows underneath my belt and thousands of people that I've interviewed, I'm like, all right, now I need to do something with this. And so I'm beginning to learn a new way to market the program and stuff. So I love hearing, this tip, because that's something I don't do, the sharing of other people's stuff. Just me personally, and I'm starting to realize that the way I think is the way nobody else thinks. And so I rarely share other people's stuff, because I'm thinking I want to see originality. But I guess, again, I'm wrong in the way I think.
Well, it's not that you're wrong. It's just a mindset shift. So again, if you're looking at social media as being platforms for relationship building and offering value to your customers, it's exhausting to think about you having to self-generate all that content that's going to be of value.
Right.
But what you can do, because you have 700 guests under your belt, right? You have access to all of these people's content. So you can provide your audience with unique things they can't find anywhere else. Do you think that most of your audience would run across an article that I wrote about the 5 best ways to gain an audience in social media? Probably not any other way than through you, because now you have these connections and you'll have direct access, if you follow me on Twitter and follow me on Facebook, to turn around and say, hey, I interviewed this person. She's really smart. I love her work. You got to read this article. Then it's like your audience is, he is such a great resource. He has so much access to content I couldn't find anywhere else that's really, really useful. You become the conduit for all of this.
Yeah, and that's the direction of the program, and it's actually over. Probably I've done about 700 shows and about 1,200 different guests, and I'm in the process of migrating. I had an old, out-of-date site which was Tampa Bay Radio, and I'm putting it into this new site. And I'm able to import a lot of data, but there's a lot of data fields I want to fill in, and it's literally going to take me a month to input all these different guests' information. Wow. It's incredible the amount of data and work that I've put into this project over the the last 3.5 years. But people like you have made this possible. All the different professionals that take time out of their day to provide content to the program, because all I do is ask the questions, and carry the conversation along. And people like you have helped educate me, more and more on how to grow the business. And I got a great tip today. I need to be sharing other people's stuff. I don't do that. Honestly, if you were to study my social media, you'll see a lot of original content, but you'll see very little retweets and shares on Facebook. And usually it's only when people ask me if I will share something, will I do it and stuff. So that's a good tip and something I will take away. So let me take a break here. Currently talking to Kyra Reed. She's the founder and CEO of Marker Digital, a social media company that can help get your business in front of more and more people and help get you trained on how to use social media properly. And you can learn more at her website, marker.com, and Marker spelled MARKYR. And please learn more about this program at thatbusinessnetwork.com and find all shows available on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. You're currently listening to That Business Show 2.0. I am your host, Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hi, Jackie Skelton from JR World Travel here. If you travel, you need a licensed professional travel consultant, not a computer. Your licensed professional consultant can get you more for your time and your money. Value for your money and experience, not marketing salesmanship. When you're sick, you call the doctor. When you need legal advice, you call an attorney. So the next time you want to go on any type of travel, call your licensed professional travel consultant who actually represents you. We specialise in group travel, family reunions, weddings, to escorting large groups or making special arrangements for the disabled. Please call 844-249-0190. We are a full-service travel consultancy offering worldwide concierge service. Air, land, sea, rivers, resorts, locally, nationally and internationally. Remember that number, 844-249-0190.
Hey everyone, you're back to That Business Show 2.0. I'm your host, Jamie Meloni, where each weekday morning at 7 a.m., business becomes show business, as I talk with many different business professionals from around the globe about their businesses, and we want to hear your story too. Go to tbsinterview.com. We make it easy to find the ways to get onto the program. And then all shows are available on demand on iTunes and YouTube. And YouTube can easily be found. You go to thatyoutubechannel.com. So we're talking about social media, the importance of how to use social media properly with Kyra Reed, founder and CEO of Marker Digital. And a great takeaway from that first segment is sharing other people's content. And Kyra, during the break there, we were talking about algorithms and Facebook, how they like that stuff. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So sharing other people's content looks good to the algorithms. It shows that you're actually participating in the platform the way it was meant to be used, and they tend to reward that. And then what happens is if you release a piece of content that's not yours, let's say, we were talking about building a quote card from a smart quote that one of your audience or your guests had mentioned, share that. And then if you get likes and shares on that, it gets rewarded. So the more people that like your content, here's a little trick. If you have something important you want to launch, and the post before you post what's really important gets a good amount of traction, then the post after that is going to do really, really, really well.
Okay. Is there a reason for that? It's just that's how their algorithm works?
It's just how the algorithm works, because it sees that you've got a lot of traction. So then they give your next post a big boost. And when you're sharing other people's content, it does a couple of things, right? So if you're sharing an article, Facebook rewards it because it's an article. Facebook rewards it because it's to a site other than to your site. And if other people are engaging with your content, Facebook says, hey, this is somebody that people want to interact with. So let's boost up and see what happens with the next post. So their algorithms are always changing, but these fundamental things tend to stay the same.
Interesting stuff. So Facebook rewards people for sharing of content. So that's definitely a takeaway that I'm going to take from this. What about on Twitter? Do you get rewarded for a lot of retweets then? Is that how that works?
Well, Twitter is still chronological. So Twitter is a matter of making sure you post a lot of information. And when you do retweets, so there's two things that are happening. There's people that are looking at your content, and there are people who are looking at how you engage on social media. So if you are retweeting a lot of content, it shows the world that you are generous and you're relevant and you understand how social media works. You're actually in there playing the game. You're not just in it for yourself. And so there's a sentimental reward that comes with it. And people will tend to engage with you more and give you more retweets when you retweet them. It helps you build relationships. And again, I'm going to go back to that idea that these are relationship platforms. So just like when you walk into a networking meeting and you're rewarded for introducing people and propping people up, in the same way you're going to be rewarded in the social universe.
Okay, and it's okay on Twitter to post a lot more content than what you do on Facebook. That's kind of one of the cultural rules, right? You can post away on Twitter and you get more followers. You do it on Facebook, you get unfriended because I guess it's too much stuff. But then again, you always want to separate, I guess, personal from professional. How do you advise people in using Facebook with regard to the personal page versus their fan page or a network group?
Well, the personal page is your personal page, and do not conduct business or draw business into that arena. That is, your friends and family. It's for your political perspective. It's for your controversial ideas if you have them. Do not bring that into your page. Your page is your brand. It is not you. So you should have a separate brand identity. Even if you are the brand, if your name is the name of your company, it's still not you. It's an entity unto itself. Do not ever talk about sex, politics, or religion unless your brand is about one of those three things. Never be negative, ever. I don't care if somebody's blatantly attacking you, if you've been wronged. It will work against you to have any kind of negative attitude towards another business or an individual or an experience. Even if it's political, stay away from it. And those are two of the biggest distinctions where I see people muddy the waters between those two.
Good information. Now, I'm hearing more and more about Instagram these days. I've got an Instagram account, but I've never really used it. Some of the people that help me with social media have done some posts on it, but I've never developed my Instagram account. How important is Instagram today with businesses?
It depends. It matters. I don't know how much it's really going to do for you. It's not a bad place to be, but you're not very visually driven. If you're retail, if you're food, if you're travel, these things that really rely on a lot of visual encouragement and stimulation, those types of businesses do really well on social media. Mine, I'm on Instagram, but it doesn't do that much for me because people really aren't there looking for business advice or business relationships.
Right.
It's not impossible. There are people who have done well with it, but it's a lot harder to gain traction than it is on Facebook just because it's visually driven. So what kind of photos are you going to be supplying every day?
Right, and that's why I've kind of shied away from Instagram. I kind of take that same perspective that yes, my business, what I'm doing is not really visually driven. I get good.
You should be on LinkedIn.
Yes, I actually have probably one of my highest follow. I'm near 5,000 there, and actually just went over 5,000 on Twitter just yesterday. But LinkedIn, I do get good engagement because this is a professional show, and I post a lot of stuff onto LinkedIn. But then again, with LinkedIn, there's also that posting rule where you don't want to overload, too much posting. What's some of the rules to, use LinkedIn effectively?
Well, look, I think that those rules are very arbitrary because there are companies like the Chicago Tribune. I was reading an article about them the other day, and they post 30 times a day. So I don't let those kind of arbitrary rules stand in your way. Post as much as you want to post. People do not sit on LinkedIn the way they do on Facebook. You're not going to offend people by posting a lot of useful information.
And I guess that's right, because they're not going to, whenever I go to LinkedIn, I'm not going to scroll through every post I missed. I'm going to look at the top 10 or 20 and then probably go to something else. So it makes sense then to post over and over again to catch me, right?
Exactly. I also recommend using groups in LinkedIn to post articles, to go in and answer questions for people. It's a really great way to develop your following. For your radio show, I would suggest even having a group that you can invite all of your past guests to participate in and create a little community around your past guests. Give some kind of exclusivity to that. Making sure, what's really cool is you have 5,000 people that are following you, and you are connected to all of those 5,000 people 3 out. So you're connected to their audience or their followers and their followers' followers.
Right.
So you have the ability to reach a lot of people and connect with a lot of people. So the more people that you like, the more people you're potentially connected to, because it will go 3 out.
Yeah. So I spend most of my efforts on Twitter, LinkedIn, and my Facebook fan page with my business. I had a guest on 2 or 3 weeks ago was touting the power of Pinterest. What do you think about Pinterest with business?
I love Pinterest. But again, the thing with it that I find people try to do with social media is give these general rules that, you need to be on all of these, your content needs to be this way, you need to post this many times a day. And every business is different. I don't think your business has any business on Pinterest. My business doesn't have any business on Pinterest. I use it for all of my vacations, for the events that we're putting together, for weddings that are happening. But that doesn't have anything to do with business. So we have to look at how each of these sites are being used, and does that work with our business? It's brilliant if you're in travel or fashion or food, just like with Instagram, or if you have some home improvements. I mean, I remodeled my entire house off of my Pinterest boards. But what does that have to do with social media or business?
Right.
So it's really about looking at, for my business, what I do, what is going to be the best use of my time, because you don't have a bunch of time to be managing all of these sites.
Right.
What is going to be the most effective for you?
What about the auto posting sites such as Hootsuite? Are those recommended to be used? I've heard some people say that the algorithms will punish you for using those types of platforms. Give me some advice on that.
So I love Hootsuite for the curated content aspect, right? So you can create tabs where you have, you can say, here's all my social media experts, here are all my finance experts, here are my real estate experts. And so then you can go in the morning and say, look, what do I want to post today? And you can see all of your grouped people and the content that they've posted, and you can grab it really easily. For Twitter, Hootsuite's great to auto post, but do not do it to Facebook, because they're right. They don't like third-party posting. They want what's called native posting. And they're even dinging you now on YouTube because they want natively uploaded to Facebook in order to support it in the algorithm. So yes, use it for Twitter, auto posting, but use Hootsuite to really help gather that curated content and put everything in buckets. It will cut out so much time during the day. So, it's a little bit to set it up, but it's one of those tricks that will help you get your management of your social media hours down.
Good information. Well, we got to wrap up the program. Kyra Reed, founder and CEO of Marker Digital. Thank you so much. A lot of good information from this program. And you can learn more about her at marker.com. Again, marker spelled M-A-R-K-Y-R, marker.com. You can learn more about us at thatbusinessnetwork.com. And please find us available on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0. I am your host, Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.